Hey, welcome to Midnight Customs. I'm Brandon, and this is the next episode of Flux Core Welding for Beginners by Beginners. So we're going to go over some techniques, some settings. We're going to show you a bunch of different things. And then a little later in the video, we got something real special for you. So stick around. A lot of you guys that have your classic cars or newer cars are going to be experiencing this too. And we're going to work on learning how to do this to help you. So hit that like and subscribe button, drop me a comment, and I hope you enjoy the show. And like I said, coming up a little bit later in the video, we've got something real special for you guys working on sheet metal.
So you want to make sure you have the right angle. Now, this stick out's a little short for what you need for this. So if you can see where it's at, you want it out to about right there. You know, about a 1/2 inch or 5/8 or whatever. So, and then when you're welding, make sure you're comfortable. The more comfortable you are, the better your welds are going to turn out and the better you're going to weld. Now, you don't want to be just like this when you're running flat stringers. You want to use a drag angle. So you want to angle your torch about like this and then just weld, run your stringer. So we'll go with that first. And we'll show you how that goes. We're using 030 flux core or 8mm wire. And what we're going to do is we're going to go down this line here and we're going to run it at 90 amps. As you can see, we got some spatter on there. But if you noticed, it didn't stay glowing. So if it glows for too long, either you got too much heat going into it, not enough wire speed, or you're moving too slow. Now if it glows at one end, just like say we finished our weld right here, if it's sort of glowing, that's all right. But if it's glowing way back here and the plate's glowing around it, you got way too much heat and you're going to dig into that. I forgot a step. I'll show you what that is. 2 steps actually. Anti-spatter spray. Keeps all those little hot BBs from sticking to your table or anything else that's metal. The second one is nozzle gel. Keeps that crud from building up on your torch tip. So you just, in you go. Now these two are at 90 amps. We're going to turn it up to 100. And what we have there is too much distance away from the metal. Got a little bit of a glow right there. That's okay. Now this whole plate's pretty hot. So we got here at 90 amps, 90 amps. This one's at 100, and then I started pulling the torch away. As you can see, it started raising the weld up. Right here, I started out up and then started going back closer to it, and it started laying down again. This one here, this is at 101 amps, and it was a nice steady flow. And all this stuff you could probably knock off with a sanding disc. Won't be no big deal. Now we're gonna crank it up to 113 amps. We'll do a little T-joint for you. Use you a magnet to hold it in place and tack it on both ends. On a joint like this, you can actually turn your heat up a little bit, because what's going to happen is the heat's going to travel out this way, and then it's going to travel up this way. So it's not going to warp this. You're not going to put a bunch of heat just into one piece, because it's basically going to go like this. Spread out, go up this plate and out that plate. And then on the back side of this T-joint, it's going to come away from it too. So basically you're going to go like this and up, or the heat's going to go that way as you're welding. So you can see the heat marks. They're coming up and going out. And if you flip it over, you got another heat mark coming out and also going up the backside. And if you look here, you've got good penetration. And these practice welds we did earlier, you've also got good penetration on those as well. So We ran these at 90. This was at 101. This is at 113. So you can kind of see the different heat penetration marks, weld penetration. We'll wire wheel that and we'll show you what it looks like. And take your time. Have fun. That's what it's about, having a good time. So there's what we got so far. You know, and we can either turn it up a bit or move a little bit faster. That way it doesn't kind of build up like that. You want it to lay flat. See here on the back side, grab some pliers. This thing is really hot. Great penetration there. You can kind of see the welds poking through underneath, which is good. You want that so you know it's transferring through. We'll wire wheel that off real quick and we'll show you the difference between 100 amp or 113 amps and 130 amps. So that's a much smoother weld, more flowing. It almost looks like a stick weld. That one, it penetrated, it'll probably hold, but it doesn't look as pretty. You might end up grinding that down. But that one looks real nice. Almost like you got it at Walmart. So now you can see the penetration back here, the heat marks. Like I said, your heat's going to do this. So like you can turn the heat up a little bit and you can get it penetrated better. I'm going to run this whole line at 140 amps. So your welder may not do 140, but like I said, check your settings chart that comes with your machine. It's either in the machine or it's on a piece of paper, or you can look online. Smoking. We'll let that cool down a little bit and then we'll wire wheel it off. It's still too hot to touch. But what you can see is this weld here. So, and I'll show you real quick. Porosity, however you say it. So, there is where you see those lines, there's some wormholes right here and some wormholes right there. There's two there and there's two there. So that means there's contamination in the weld. But the rest of the weld looks really good, except for those two little holes right there. You want to avoid that. And there's worse situations than that too. It'll look like bird poop with a bunch of potholes in it, like depending on where you live, like your roads. So like if you lived in Portland, Oregon, you could have wormholes that you need a ladder to climb out of. You can get porosity that bad, however you say that word. So, but like I said, this is 130 amps. It laid out like I stick welded it. We had less amps here, more amps here. We had, I think it was 100 here and 113 here. And then we're at 130 right here. So, but also to point out, this side was prepped. We grinded the mill scale off. This side here, this still has mill scale on it. So that can contribute to that. Let's try welding up some 22 gauge sheet metal, which is what a lot of new cars are made out of. We'll just practice together here, see how it goes, because I know a lot of guys are going to be looking to do auto body repair or fix their project car. So, and Flux core is the most commonly available and most cost effective, yeah. So let's give it a try. Now that one's a pretty big gap already. Now remember, this stuff's not much thicker than aluminum foil, so